Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tax Hack Show, where we give you all the best hacks to save you thousands, if not millions of dollars on taxes. I am your host again, Trevor LaParle, and I'm accompanied by my full-time guest, Kevin Brenner. Kevin, how are we doing today?
Doing well. It's a good day.
Yeah, right? It's hotter than heck, though. We're in California. For those of you that are on the West Coast, we're dying right now. It's 90. I think it's like 92 today. My dog.
People in Dallas wish it was only 92.
Yeah, right. Humidity's not bad, so we don't have to deal with that. I just got back from Michigan, and it was like 92, and it was rainy. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Humidity's the worst. But anyway,
Need my electric bill the end of this month. My God,
it's the
really needs.
yeah, me too. I turn mine off right now because I have the wall one. Our house doesn't have an in, like, I guess, in unit, whatever, AC. So I have the little one you put in the window, and then you have the big thing in there. But they work great. Having my room, it cools down in like 20, 30 minutes. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah, but there's so many people here in Southern California that don't even have, especially if you're really close to the water.
Yeah.
They don't even have air conditioning in their house. My mother-in-law has no air conditioning in her house. Of course, she's 2 miles from the water.
Yeah.
And she only needs it for a couple of weeks a year, but she's going to need it more than a couple of weeks this year. So
Yeah, we had a late like bloom this year on the heat, so it didn't come up for a long time. I feel like summer started like 2-3 weeks ago, so all the way through June we didn't have anything. I felt like
it's true. It's true.
yeah. But anyway, the big topic right now, the $1 billion lottery that we hope we both win. Did you get a ticket?
No, I bought a ticket. What's it?
Oh, my billion with a B.
Oh, I got to buy a ticket just to
happening tonight. So get it before it's too late.
Better. Yeah, it's draw tonight.
Yeah, Wednesday night it's drawn. So we, me, my, Nathan, my business partner Nathan. For those of you that don't know, we were driving to LA yesterday on Tuesday, and we saw the sign. I saw like a 1. I'm like, only 1 million. I'm like, oh wait, 1 billion is the lottery. Those big, on the side of the freeway, you see that. I was like, looks like we got to get a ticket.
There's a lot of people out there that the lottery is kind of their retirement plan. That's really the only hope they have. That and Social Security, that's probably all they're ever going to have. It's sad, but the lottery, if it's fun, that's one thing. If that's your hope for retirement, yeah, it's not good.
Keep dreaming. That in Vegas for some people, right? They'll go and put everything on black and hope it doubles or goes to nothing. So
hope you topped off the gas tank to get home before you did
that. Yeah, right. What's the first thing you would get? Just say, we got a lottery ticket and, or just say you got one tonight before it goes. What would you buy first?
Well, the first thing was I would tell no one. Second thing I'd do, I'd tell no one. I would secure the ticket in the safe.
Yeah.
I would tell no one, and then I would call an attorney that specializes in those things. A friend of my father's won the lottery when this whole lottery thing first started way back in the 80s, early 90s, one or the other. And he was shocked the number of relatives he hadn't seen since a family reunion when he was 9 years old. Throw that in the door. Yeah, and the number of charities knocking on his door, and he literally had to change his phone number. He had to do all kinds of other things. He eventually just moved. He consistently, he took the income over time, but it was several million a year income over time.
Yeah.
So he wasn't one of the world record winners or anything, or the record winners or anything like that. But it was a lot of money. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 million a year for forever, or a long pay. And that's a lot of money back then. So what he did was he made a bucket list of all the golf courses in the world that he wanted to play, oddball golf courses that most people don't even know exist, like a 9-hole on some little island in the South Pacific you may have never heard of, And he made a long list of golf. Of course, he went and played St. Andrews, got on the list to get those bottles of scotch they only release once a year. Yeah, and they don't care who you are. You got to be there to personally pick it up yourself, and everybody only gets 2 bottles. That isn't it. Yeah. Oh, no, these are $10,000 bottles. So, and he made a list of those kinds of things to do. And then he would take his kids and grandkids with him on the travels. So the excuse was to go play golf in Kenya, or it's just really oddball places, Hong Kong, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But while they were there, they went on Kenya, they went on a safari and did a bunch of other stuff, So it was kind of like my trips to New England. I get one of those maps that shows all the covered bridges. Then I take a pencil, we play connect the dots. We take pictures next to each covered bridge. But it's an excuse to go to a town that's off the beaten path, and you end up at a dairy that makes their own cheeses, and there's a tour bus that does stop there, and they do serve lunch, and you're kind of the last people there, and the guy mentions, I still make hard apple cider by my grandfather's recipe. Would you like some? It's in the basement. And next thing you know, it's in the fall, it's beautiful, you're at a bonfire in a fire pit in the backyard with the family that owns the dairy, having a great time, and we still go visit.
I love that.
And in the fall. And, so it was an excuse drawing the thing. So if I won the lottery, what would I do? I would set up a series of life experiences. One of my daughters lived with me in Japan, and we climbed up Mount Fuji at night. And it's not that far of a hike. It's like 4 hours up the side from where you park.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, and there's these Buddhist monks that sell you hot miso soup over a sterno or green tea or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you get to the top, and you all stand on the rim. There's a spot where you all stand in a row, and you look out east. And we were looking over the clouds as the horizon started getting light. And right as the sun broke the horizon above the clouds, you're above the clouds, there's this Buddhist monk over here that waves a flag, and somebody farther down in the caldera where there's a Buddhist monastery sees the flag, and they take this big beam and they ring a bell, this bell. Everybody stand there silently, and you hear this bell. Oh. And you feel the sound pass over your body and pass over the earth.
Yeah.
It feels like you're on top of the world.
That's really cool.
We stood there while the bell was ringing at these long intervals. Everybody just silent, watching the sun break the horizon. It was a religious experience. It really was. And it's life experiences like that. She still remembers that. She very vividly. She says, I complained all the way up the mountain. She didn't want to do it. And I'm so thankful we stood there for the sunrise. Just a little moment like that. So if I won the lottery, I would add to my list. I've had a lot of experiences like that. I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
I would add to that list.
I think I'm in the same boat as you there. I'd want to, for the most part, you're going to want to disappear anyway for a little bit, get away from everyone, hop on a plane, end up, in Italy or Greece, and just, turn off the phone, put it away. You don't know me. I don't know you. I'm going to just sit back and, travel everywhere, go MIA for a little bit.
If you want to disappear to a really, really nice place, go to the island of Cyprus, the Greek side.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that. I had some friends go last year. They said a lot of good things about it.
It's kind of off the beaten path. A lot of people don't know it. It's not that crowded.
Yeah.
And they have these little tours. You go up in the mountains and you go hiking, and there's a beautiful forest up in the mountains on the island. There's higher mountains there than you'd think. But we hiked up to this waterfall. When we got there, they had a picnic laid out for us.
That's pretty sweet.
So we had this beautiful picnic watching this waterfall. And when you get up that high, the air is really cool. So it wasn't hot. And we saw some wildlife and some deer. Then we hiked back down. It was just a very pleasant time.
Yeah.
A beautiful picnic. But obviously, the food was all homemade, fresh made. And it was just delicious food. So we joked about how we enjoyed the beaches and some other stuff we were doing there. But all the guys, it was a guy's trip. I was working in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And we all talked about, but we enjoyed that hike that day. We enjoyed that. That was really the thing we enjoyed the most.
That's pretty sweet.
The island of Cyprus, that's a little hidden gem that people don't think to go to.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So both of our go-tos would be travel from the sounds of it. So which I feel like a lot of people would be in the same boat. You got to disappear. I think there's it's 12 states, I'm pretty sure, that you can be anonymous when you do have the winnings. I'm going to pull up the list. I had it set from earlier. I was actually looking at it because I was curious. Let's see, did I save it? Oh yeah, it's Arizona, Delaware, Georgia, Kansas, Maryland, Michigan, Mississippi, North Dakota, New Jersey, South Carolina, Texas, Ohio allow you to set up the trust and protect it and not have to have, you can show up in a Scream mask or show up in some Halloween costume. I saw a video on that one time. Years ago, I saw it. A guy showed up and claimed his lottery ticket with like a Scream mask on with the tongue hanging out, and he was holding up the thing. And it's smart, you don't want to deal with any of that. Like, it's the last thing you want to deal with. Like, you don't want to have some people coming after you, especially, state like California. You're in, for us at least, Southern California. Like, LA is right around the corner. People know you. They're going to come knocking on your door. You don't know what they'll do. Like, your family, all that has to be, you got to get a security detail. And it's scary stuff out here. So you never know. But in those states, it's nice. Huh?
They call this the breakfast cereal state. It's the land of fruits, nuts, and flakes.
Yeah.
No, I know a lot of you that aren't here in California. I know how you view us and give us a hard time. Believe it or not, it's a beautiful state. Most people here are just salt of the earth people.
Yeah.
We have those crazy areas though that I got to tell you, and that's what the news harps on, is those bad, crazy areas. So, but it is a crazy state in many ways, especially Sacramento.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. San Fran too. There's more than. That's an understatement. Leave it at that. But
so if I had my money in a REIT right now that was a commercial REIT with commercial properties, I'd be moving it to something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because so you vacancies and stuff in these office buildings. It's those of you that aren't in California, we actually have in Orange County, we have some of these buildings that are literally see-through buildings. They're 30-story buildings with nothing in it. And so you know that whoever invested in that is not going to go well.
Absolutely not. So do you take the lump sum though, or the annuity option? I know we talked about it earlier. You were saying it was your uncle that, he got a couple million every year. What's the best option?
Good friend of my father's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. But he took the income stream over time.
Okay. What do you think's better? Why?
Well, I can do better with the money with very conservative investments and generate more income from it than they can generate for me.
Yeah.
So I'd take it, pay the tax. Even after paying the tax, I can do better than. So if you calculate the income stream they're paying and the rate of return that they have to do that, and I also don't trust that California is going to be solvent long enough to pay some of those payments.
Yeah.
Because technically Sacramento, if Sacramento was a private corporation, they would have already been court ordered into bankruptcy a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're so I would take the lump sum, pay the tax once, and then with those funds, because I'm a professional, so I know how to generate much more income forever for generations than what they would pay me. So
yeah.
Now, if you're not professionally trained in this, you'd have to seek out probably a family office style advisor for that amount of money.
Yeah.
You can manage it correctly. Because you're going to need attorneys for tax planning and trust planning, all that kind of stuff on that one. Because you're well into the state taxes on the other side of that. So there's ways of mitigating that. There's ways of creating trusts that are outside your estate that aren't taxed. You're the income beneficiary. When you pass, the next income beneficiary steps in.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 70% of lottery winners go broke within a couple of years, right? So that's the number. And it's like, you would think that once you get that much money, you would try and seek out some help. So you said, an attorney, estate planning. What else should you put in place to try and make sure that you don't end up in that statistic, right? If you did win.
But just make sure you tell no one. Tell no one. I'm not kidding. Tell no one. And you can't be anonymous in California, but you don't have to be filmed. You don't have to be those other.
Yeah.
And so do as much of that as possible. And then make sure you have an income stream that's a non-taxable income stream.
And some examples of those would be?
Well, muni bonds. There are certain types of trust accounts that can invest in a way that all the principal comes back up front rather than the return.
Yeah.
Tax-free. There are insurance contracts you can purchase that have tax-free income.
Mhm.
It'd be hard to put that much money in one, which you can. But there's a lot of muni bonds I wouldn't buy either, because as our economy heads the other direction, again, there's a lot of those municipalities that they're not going to survive. There's cities and counties and stuff that can't pay it back. So you got to be careful with.
Yeah. Also, too,
There's ways. We'd have to go deeper than just the blog here on some of that, but there are ways to enjoy tax.
yeah. And also, too, I think I saw something before. If you have the annuity option, let's say, maybe you won when you're, I don't know, say you're 60, right? You won when you're 60 and you end up dying at 67. I don't know. Do you know the lifetime of the annuity that they give people for that? Or is it like 30 years? Is it like, can you build it on?
I think it's 20. I'd have to look it up because I think it's 20 years.
I can't remember. I think it is 22. But if you die before it's before you're paid out for the entire annuity, I think the rest goes back to the state.
I don't know, but they should have more than one option. They should have what's called 20-year certain or 30-year certain, where in other words, it's a fixed payment for a fixed period of time. If you pass, you have to designate somebody as the heir.
Yeah.
But these are still all the reasons. I would take the lump sum, pay the tax once, and then set that money aside, managed very carefully with a fiduciary trustee, where there's checks and balances.
Yeah.
So, and you'd have to that amount of money you'd want to employ it. What's referred to as a family.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? We all get taxed on our income to go put $5, $10, $20 into a lottery from all the people just to get taxed on it again. It's like your pot's all.
Years of taxation are. Most people don't really think about it. You pay tax on your income, then you pay tax on everything you buy with that income, and then you provide that income to another person, then they got to pay tax on it again. And, I have this thing here. I put together this.
Tell me about that.
Of course, I notice that's backwards on my screen.
Nah, it looks fine on mine.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure the camera's straight. But this is 151 taxes and a loaf of bread. This comes from an interview of Ronald Reagan in 1975. And what he's talking about is the farmer has to pay tax on the land. He pays tax on the fuel that goes in his tractor. He pays tax on his income. He pays tax on the electricity that goes to the barn. There's tax on your electric bill. The truck that hauls the grain to the mill pays tax on the tires, tax on the plates on the truck, tax on the truck itself, tax on the wages on the driver, tax on the fuel that goes in the tanks. And it goes on and on.
Yeah.
Then at the mill, they're paying tax on the electricity that runs the mill. They're paying tax on the natural gas. They're paying tax on all the employees and the wages. They're paying tax on the land that the mill is on. Then once they make flour, that goes off to a bakery somewhere. Well, the truck that hauls that, you have the tax on the tires and the plates and the truck itself and the employees driving it and everything else. And then when it gets to the bakery, there's tax on the natural gas that heats the ovens. There's tax on the bakery itself and the employees and the land that it's on. Well, then it goes to the grocery store. Well, now it's hauled in a truck again. So there's tax on that fuel. There's tax on that truck, tax on those plates. The grocery store pays property taxes on the land it's on. They pay tax on the electric bills, utilities, the natural gas to heat the place, the employees. There's even a service tax on some of it. By the time you get a loaf of bread, over half of a loaf of bread is taxes.
Oh, man.
Half of the cost of a loaf of bread is taxes. Half. So you pay taxes on your wages. Then you go out and buy a loaf of bread to make a sandwich at home. And I love a good ham and cheese, just a simple ham and cheese. Mustard, mayo, ham, cheese. And I'll throw a little greenery on there to make me think on being healthy.
Yeah, right.
Right? Just tell me a ham and cheese sandwich isn't just the best thing.
Yeah.
Well, you pay tax on your wages before you buy the ingredients that go into that sandwich. And then 50% of that sandwich was taxes as well somewhere else. So the layers of taxes upon taxes. So one of the things I quoted in here is we are well beyond pay your fair share. We've all already paid our fair share before you even go to the grocery store. So in this PDF that you can download, I'm sure you'll put a link here somewhere.
Yeah, I can throw it down at the bottom for people to check out if they want to use more on it.
We talk about these things, the different investments and stuff that you can invest in, and how much fees and taxes consume what is left for you to spend on every level. On every level, and we talk about a forgotten asset in here that actually is outstanding. But what it really comes down to is you work so hard to save money, and then you got the ups and downs and the investments and the risk and the fees and everything there. And I don't begrudge all the fees. I mean, the advisor has to be paid. He doesn't work for free, right?
Well, of course, yeah.
But let's face it, a lot of these investments, the fees in there are horrendous. They're making more on your investments than you are. You got to be careful with that. And most of it doesn't have to be disclosed. You'd be shocked how many fees come out of your rate of return that aren't disclosed to you and don't have to be. So there's one investment we talk about in the PDF here that you should never buy, but it's one of the most common things sold by financial. And once you understand the 42 different fees that are hidden inside that investment, only about 8 are disclosed to you in the brochures. The rest don't have to be disclosed to you. The SEC law doesn't require it. So once you work so hard, and then when you go to pull the money out, if you need $1 to live on, you got to pull $1, $30, $40 to pay the tax to net $1. Well, that other 30, 40 cents is gone forever. It'll never earn a rate of return for you ever again.
Yeah.
Well, there are investments that perform just as well as index funds. And the money comes out tax-free, and it's not even a Roth.
There you go.
Or a Roth 401k. But you got to know how to buy it and how to hold it. That's the catch.
Yeah.
But what if you had a retirement account that you could pull $1 million in income over your lifetime out of it? And the day you died, it paid $1 million to your heirs to start all over again.
Would be nice.
Well, how in the world could it do that? Because it doesn't have all the fees and stuff. And there's more money in it because if you need $1, you take $1. You don't have to take $1.40 to net $1. The other 40 cents stays in there, keeps earning interest for you. So Grandpa used to tell us grandkids, there's people you date and people you marry. Don't confuse the two.
Yeah, right.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
There are investments for income and investments for gain.
Yeah.
Don't confuse the two.
Of course. Yeah.
And most financial advisors are using gain investments, buy and hold investments, then telling you to take income.
Yeah.
So no, you got to convert those over to income investments. You got to turn the day you retire that you're no longer going to be drawing a salary or a paycheck. Now, if you have a pension, you can't do much about it. But your other investments, you need to flip them on their head. You got to manage it. There's different investments once you need an income stream. Because the bills come every month, man.
Yeah.
Electric bill right now, this air conditioner I hear, it's just cranking. So this thing came on this morning a little after 8. I don't think it's ever shut off. So, which is unusual here where we live, right?
Yeah.
The bills come every month. The property taxes every 6 months. A new car every couple of years. The grandkids have birthdays and Christmas and travel and so you need that dependable income. And if the market's down, you're like, wait a minute, I can't take more money out. I'll go even deeper. Now I can't make a recovery when it comes back. So it's sad to see people in the years they should be climbing Mount Fuji, taking a trip to Kenya for the safari. You're having some of those bucket list things, right?
Yeah.
But instead, no, they're scaling back because they don't want to run out of money. And they're not going to run out of money because they're responsible people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to keep scaling back.
Yeah.
And instead of, going to dinner with friends, they're at home eating Campbell soup. Watching reruns of Bonanza,
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and how did they end up there? Because advisors sold them investments the advisors wanted to sell them, not the investments that were going to truly provide for them.
Yeah.
I said, ups and downs, here's the average, you'll be fine. Maybe, maybe not.
Yes.
You know, it's like the lottery. I can buy a ticket all I want. Don't know if I'm going to win.
Yeah. So if you win the lotto, you're gonna get what? 400 million, especially in California. Or no, California doesn't tax it. Never mind. So it's only the federal tax that you're subject to.
Oh, does California not tax the lottery?
I don't think they do. I'm pretty sure they don't. So
Oh, you should look that up. That means
fact check
on
that. Yeah, I might check in a second.
And I never took winning seriously anyway because I understand the odds.
Yeah.
You know, statistical mathematics was a class I got an A in college.
Yeah. You have more of a chance to get struck by lightning twice on the way there, I think. And then like I don't know, it was like 800 more times more of a chance to get hit by a car or something like that. Like it's insane. Like how much more likely you are to die on the way there than to actually get your ticket. So and win, which is
It's still fun to buy one.
yeah, absolutely. You know, so it's always fun to do that. So at the end of the day, spend 100 million bucks off the bat, and then get your 300 million, whatever you got left, and get your 6% a year, and call it quits. Right? Put it in a smart
There
investment.
you go.
Get a trust. Get an estate
There are
planner.
things I would do. There's a couple charities that I believe in supporting.
Absolutely.
These are charities that less than 10% of their income goes to fund the operations. The rest actually helps people.
Mm-hmm.
I had a brother died of cerebral palsy when I was 10. He was 17.
Yeah.
So Cerebral Palsy Foundation, I would get a chunk from me. They get money from me every year.
Yeah.
I have a couple of people I know that would just get notice from the bank their mortgage has been paid off. And then not a while to know. They might figure it out later if they find out I won.
Yeah.
These are good people that life just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But they're good people. They're responsible people. So a few things like that.
Same boat too. Doing the kind of evangelical work a little bit and like blessing people that really need it. Trying to put smiles on people's faces, not places, but a lot of that would be to make you feel like you're actually doing something for the world, not just taking it in and keeping it all for yourself. Like make everybody happy. That's yourself.
I can't retire immediately. I have fiduciary responsibility to clients, but my exit date would get moved up.
Yeah.
Get moved up about 5 years.
Only, 5 years. It should be sooner than that, right? Sell off everything and hand it off to everybody. And
I haven't told you what my exit date is.
oh, hey, you're right. I gotta. Something I gotta consider too, huh?
Yeah, no. I'd need to unwind myself out of here, have the partners take my responsibilities and stuff. That would take about 2 years.
Yeah, it's a long process.
But through that process, I would start working part time. But something I like my clients. No, I have friends that we hang out with and go to dinner with and do things with, or we meet down at the barbecue place and stuff, or I meet in pretty cool bars that are started out as clients. And they're still clients, but they're also people we hang out with and spend time with. So, you met Alan Cox, my VP.
Yeah.
I met him when I rolled over his 401k. And then we went out for a beer after filling out all the paperwork. And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
About 2 years into him being a client, one day he said, I want to do what you do for a living. How can I do that? So he went to school and took the class, signed on. And so I met him when he was a 401k rollover.
From a client to a partner.
Yeah, now he's the vice president here.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Sure. So I wouldn't. What I'm telling you is I wouldn't exit entirely.
Yeah.
But would I lengthen the bucket list? Yeah,
absolutely. Right. So to close up,
I wouldn't do golf courses like that guy did.
Yeah, I hate golf.
Oh, it's not that I hate it. I just suck.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm not good yet.
I'm wicked off. I was a baseball player, so I'm wicked off the tee. Now, sometimes we have no idea where the ball came down. I'm not even going to look for that. I was like, oh, yeah. Hey, it was a wicked distance. Not even going to look for it. It's in the parking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not my ball. It looked cool when I hit really far, but I'm not going to worry about chasing it. That's for sure.
No, I have a friend. I was over in England. I had a friend. He went up and played St. Andrews. It was on his list.
Yeah.
He came back and says, how'd you do? And he goes, well, the worst rounds I've ever played. He goes, but I don't care. He said it's a harder course than he anticipated.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he didn't care. Hey, you and I, we could take the girls and go visit Cyprus. We could fly private.
That'd be nice, right? You'd probably get your own plane at that point. You don't have to worry about flying private.
Flying private, flying private, you miss out on getting groped by TSA.
Hey, it's the worst, absolute worst. Don't get me started on
Is
to
it?
say. Yeah,
Is
I had pre-check. I just, like I said, I told you guys earlier. I just traveled back from Michigan this past week, and I bought pre-check. I got all that to make sure I had it before the flight, and then on my way back, we left from Detroit. Pre-check is closed, and so I have to go all the way through the normal TSA line. I'm like, what the hell am I paying for? You know? So I pay to get the whole pre-check and expedite the process. Essentially, for those of you that don't know, the pre-check lets you go through. They verify, who you are. They do a background check on you, all of that, so that when you go to fly, you don't have to, go through as many measures, right? So I bought that. It's like, I think it's like $75. So it's like, that's, nothing for the time I'd be wasting. And then I show up to go and, oh, this line's closed. I'm like, so there's no pre-check? Oh yeah, they close at 9. I'm like, that'd been nice to know before I got there. Would have showed.
$25 back?
No.
Yeah, that was a dumb question.
Yeah, come on now. You think they're gonna give me the money back? Good luck.
I had a guy pull me aside one time at LAX. He just kept searching me, and I'm on the footprints, on the hands up at me.
Yep.
And at this point, it's beyond uncomfortable. And I wouldn't say anything. And finally, I just kind of looked down. The guy looked up at me. We met eyes. And I don't, my sense of humor. And I said, normally I have to buy somebody dinner first.
Yeah. It's true.
Well,
they're groping it down there.
He didn't think that was funny. And he wouldn't let me go till he thought I was going to be late for my flight. Thankfully, my flight was late and I still made my flight. But I said, can I go? I'm going to miss my flight. He said, no. Then he would walk back by, can I go? And he said, no. He held me for almost 20 minutes. And so anyways, I got the other end of my flight. I got home. I was flying home. And I told Maria what had happened. She goes, I told you your sense of humor is going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, right. Got to put you that
time. My flight.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want their job. Let's be honest. These TSA guys, I would.
It's a lot of pressure.
And, and I don't think he knew my sense of humor.
Yes. So the other day,
what they were looking for. There was a time in my life, a previous job I had, that I walked right through security, briefcase and all. I was escorted through because it was that kind of job, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And the entire time I had that job and had those security clearances and everything, I noticed I just sailed right through TSA, which means they know.
Yeah, right.
And then about a year after I left that job, when their system all got updated, all of a sudden now I get stopped about every third, fourth time through.
Yeah.
Well, I get pulled aside. I don't know. Maybe I look suspicious.
Hey, you said it, not me. So
most people think I look like a cop. So
yeah.
I guess I have.
Well, if you went to auto, fly private, right? You don't want to say.
Fly private. There you go.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for today. So make sure and download. Yeah, the 151 Taxes are Loaf of Bread. Ray getting inspired. For those of you that are on the younger side, you probably won't be too aware of that quote, but it's something you really want to look into. Kevin, anything else to close with?
No, just be patient and do the right thing.
Right. Well, I hope you guys all win. If you do, you owe us a bottle. Just send it anonymously. Don't put a return address. Send us a good $5,000 bottle of whiskey for us to enjoy, and hopefully our suggestions make some sense to you. But regardless, have a great rest of your week. Hope you guys have a good one.
Right there.